All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Saranac Brewery, and they are under the Brewing Company umbrella, and they're out of Utica, New York, and this is their Big Moose Winter Ale. So this is an American pale ale that comes in at 5.7% alcohol by volume, 45 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is approximately 3 weeks old. So I said recently that I would start reviewing some more Saranac on the channel because them, along with the Boston Beer Company, were pretty much the two breweries that helped get me into craft beer, so to speak. So if you want to blame somebody for the shitty channel, you blame Saranac and you blame Sam Adams. Yeah, I just have kind of neglected them over the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm probably going to try to review one beer per month from them, some old offerings, maybe with some of their newer releases, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So full disclosure, I've had this one before, but it was back, I believe, in 2012. And back then, I wasn't really into hop-forward beers. I really didn't start getting into hop-forward beers until pretty much 2011, 2012, but only certain beers. So I was still kind of, finding my way when it came to hop-forward beers. And I remember having this one. It was part of their 12 Beers of Winter mix pack, which I believe it still is part of that, but also sold in 6-packs. And yeah, just didn't really care for it. Now, back then, I believe they used Centennial, Cascade, and Amarillo hops. And then at some point after that, they switched out, I believe it was Cascade for Citra. So I want to say that happened like 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, it's an American pale ale, 3 hops that I'm familiar with. And I can't imagine not liking this one. I mean, like I said, back then, oh, there it goes. Oh, wow. So we got a gusher. Cool. I didn't think Saranac's beers would gush, considering, that they're a pretty good brewery overall. But apparently I was wrong. So yeah, we're just going to leave that there. We're going to pour the rest of it. Oh, yeah. I really didn't mix, do anything crazy to this one. So lots of carbonation. We'll throw it over here like that. And we'll just leave my hand all wet. I don't have any paper towels because I'm a moron. So anyway, that pours out a really, I want to say that's like a deep orange, almost light copper color, but have a finger and a half of this light tan colored head. It looks like a beautiful beer when it's, not going all over the place. Let's get a nose on it. Yeah. It smells like an old school American pale ale. That's what it smells like to me. There's a lot of bready, sweeter, like caramel malt. And then there's this like resinous pine, grapefruit, lemony kind of citrus note to it. But if you've smelled American pale ales, like picture like Sierra Nevada pale ale, and then any beer trying to replicate that, that's kind of what this is, like a little bit more malt forward, but still very similar. Yeah, it smells all right. It smells like an old school American pale ale. I mean, it came out, like I said, I don't know if it came out in 2012, but the first time I had it was 8 years ago. So yeah, it's an older school APA. Cheers, everybody. Let's see what it got to offer. Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay beer. Pretty much what I said about it kind of holds true in the taste. Real, it's malt heavy in the forefront. A lot of caramel malt, bready malt. And then it passes through the palate, a little bit of that citrus, more of like a white grapefruit. It's pithy, a little bit of the juice. Then mid-palate, there's this moderate bitterness that hits. It has like a resiny pine kind of character to it. Like I said, it finishes moderately bitter, semi-dry, not a lot of residual sweetness. This is, like I said, an old school American pale ale. It's medium body, so nice for a 5.7% beer. Mouthfeel, it's crisp, very effervescent, spritzy on the palate. It's not super clean, but it's clean enough. There's a nice residual bitterness on the back of the palate. Outside of the fact that I lost a couple ounces of it, it's not all that bad. I can see, though, why I didn't like this one back in 2012, because more or less, this is more bitter, more of that West Coast style goodness, so to speak. And back then, I didn't like West Coast style beers. And I've really come to appreciate and enjoy like West Coast style pale ales, IPAs, double IPAs over the past, say, really about 3 years. Just something about it. I mean, drinking so many hazy IPAs, I think the fact that these are a little bit more bitter and, they have distinct characteristics to them. I'm not saying this is exactly a West Coast style pale ale, but I'm just saying like it has an old school pale ale vibe to it. And back 8 years ago, my palate wasn't digging it. I dig it a little bit more now. I think I gave this like a 3 out of 5 back in 2012. Not on Untapped, because I don't think I was on Untapped then, or I wasn't using it yet, but I think I was using like Beer Advocate or something. But now, I think I would give Big Moose Ale, or Big Moose Winter Ale from Saranac, I think I'd give this just straight 3.5 out of 5. It's well done. I know what they're going for. I think with the whole winter ale thing, that's where like the malt character comes to the forefront. Like they want more of a malty goodness, because you kind of, at least I associate like colder weather beers with big, more malt forward beers and not as hoppy. But this is pretty hop forward on the back end, but it has more malt character you expect out of a pale ale nowadays. But yeah, it's not bad in the least. Pretty good beer. Yeah, not much more to say about it. So I'm going to give, like I said, Saranac's Big Moose Winter Ale a 3.5 out of 5. Price and availability, I think this was $8.99 a six-pack. I only picked up a single bottle. I paid less than $2 for it. And availability, wherever you see Saranac, it's in their 12 beers of winter. They're selling it in, I believe, 6-packs and 12-packs. Good price point. Good availability. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Outside of it ruining my tablecloth, which I will now have to go and wash, I still think it's a pretty damn good beer. So, you know, for what it is, 3.5 out of 5 is not an amazing score or anything, but I think for what they're going for, they did a pretty good job with it. But I think you'll have to really enjoy old school American pale ales to really enjoy this one. I think if you've gotten into the hoppy stuff over the past couple years and you pick this up, I don't think you're really going to enjoy it too much, but, you know, like I said, I didn't like it in 2012. My palate's adjusted since then, so I bump it up a half point, and I think that's fair. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.